Caitlin here, bringing you some of the more important events going on in the world. Because, who really cares about a dancing cat, a really big piece of food, or a man who made waiters for dogs when there's stuff happening around the world that could actually affect your life? If you've seen the news recently, then you've probably heard something about North Korea claiming to have a hydrogen bomb. If you don't already know, a hydrogen bomb is a very powerful bomb that uses nuclear fusion of isotopes of hydrogen and uses an atomic bomb as the trigger. It's far more destructive than an A-bomb, with far worse consequences as well. But why us? Why would North Korea consider dropping such a cataclysmic weapon on the US? This anger can be traced all the way back to the 1950s when the United States participated in the Korean War. It all started June 25, 1950, when North Korean troops invaded South Korea. There was a division along the 38th parallel after World War II, and Korea was freed of Japanese rule. North Korea and South Korea were divided by the Soviets and US, both basically claiming a side. Elections were proposed by the US, and they would have actually helped unify the country, but Soviets refused. As a result, both sides of Korea held their own elections, established their own governments, and both claimed to have control over the whole country. This led to conflict and fighting, and because South Korea was part of the UN, Truman ordered troops to come to their aid. Another reason the US got involved was due to the Red Scare, or fear of communism. Soviets and North Korea were both communist. The fighting lasted about 3 years, until, after threat of nuclear war, negotiations signed a peace treaty. While it did put an end to the fighting, it didn't exactly specify the end of the war. The Koreas are permanently divided along the 38th parallel, and the DMZ, or Demilitarized Zone, remained one of the more dangerous places in the world, where hundreds of people from both sides were killed after the armistice was signed. To my knowledge, the killing has become far less common, but there is still hatred between the two countries. North Korea has had their country virtually cut off from the outside world, only getting the news the government approves of. The same with their internet. South Korea has been trying to find a way to broadcast news from the other parts of the world into North Korea, to inform them of what's happening around them, but with little success. The latest method was to bring out an enormous set of speakers and blast propaganda-type music over the DMZ. This has led to more fighting, and several shots were fired across the DMZ. But that's not as interesting or important as North Korea claiming they have a hydrogen bomb. They've been trying to develop nuclear weapons since the 1950s with the help of the Soviets, though scientists and the government are skeptical that North Korea actually has the bomb. But what if they do? Would they bomb us for protecting South Korea against them in the 50s? Or would they head straight for South Korea? Though that wouldn't actually be a smart idea on their part, they could be hit with some of the radiation, and why destroy the whole country you originally wanted to have control over? I really don't know how to explain just how destructive this bomb would be. The atomic bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki would be the equivalent of standard bombs compared to the hydrogen bomb. An atomic bomb is the trigger. North Korea claimed the bomb would have the capability to obliterate the entire United States area. And the aftermath? Think of all the radiation this could cause, all the birth defects, the death, fear, pain, etc. Can you understand why people might be a little concerned about a country that hates America so much having that kind of weapon? North Korea claimed to have tested a mini version of the hydrogen bomb underground a few days ago. This caused a small earthquake, which caused more concern and debates on the likelihood of them having the ability to create such a disastrous weapon. North Korea still seems to think we're at war, that we're joining up with South Korea to make plans to undermine them or something. Last year, I think it was, they even aired parts of The Interview or White House Down on social media, saying that they bombed Washington and destroyed the White House. This is the kind of information North Koreans are given by their government, and they've also probably been taught that we're a terrible country that needs to be eliminated. They actually think we're their greatest enemy, and they produce propaganda-type things that say we're working with South Korea. A news article from Korea claimed that the testing wasn't to threaten or provoke anyone. More like it's just their way of making sure no hostile outside forces attack them. Yeah, at us next time. Let's just hope they don't have the hydrogen bomb like they say they do. And maybe we should make it clear to them that the war's over, that we're done fighting. Nuclear weapons are not an issue to be taken lightly, and I think that if it gets used, especially on the US with all of our allies, we might just have World War III on our hands. I don't mean to scare anyone listening or anything. The government back in the 50s was able to put off a nuclear war, though a few people in governmental positions did seem to have an itchy trigger finger. Like MacArthur, who just wanted to nuke North Korea. Luckily, he was fired. Hopefully, our current government can handle this situation as effectively as they did before it gets out of hand. We caused enough death in North Korea from the first war with them, along with property damage and spending a lot of money on the war. We're in debt as it is, and we're already at war with ISIS. We really don't need to be exchanging nukes with Korea. Thanks for listening, and I hope you join me next week for an update on North Korea. Maybe by then it'll be confirmed as to whether or not they do actually have the bomb. Until next time, I'm Caitlin Westland, and this is your local throwback news station.